Hi everyone, in today's video we are going to be solving one-step inequalities. An inequality is a mathematical sentence that compares expressions. It contains the symbols less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. The way that we solve one-step inequalities is by using inverse operations, or operations that undo each other. For example, addition and subtraction, and multiplication and division. Let's take a look at some examples. Number 1, a plus 7 is greater than or equal to 10. So I want to find all of the solutions that could make this inequality true. So we're going to do the inverse operation. So instead of adding 7, we're going to subtract by 7 on both sides of our inequality. 7 minus 7 equals 0, so I can cross this out, and I bring down my a, my variable. I keep my symbol the same, so it's the greater than or equal to symbol, and 10 minus 7 is equal to 3. Our goal is to get our variable all by itself. So a is greater than or equal to 3. Number 2, k plus 8 is less than or equal to negative 3. To get k by itself on one side of our inequality, we're going to do the inverse operation. So we're going to subtract by 8 on both sides. A plus 8 and a minus 8 cancel out to be 0, so I'm left with k. I keep my inequality symbol the same. And here, a negative 3 and a negative 8, I have to be careful. Both of my numbers are negative, so I'm going to combine them. So my inequality is k is less than or equal to negative 11. Number 3, c minus 6 is less than negative 12. To solve my inequality, I'm going to do the inverse, which is to add 6 on both sides. A negative 6 and a positive 6 make 0. So now c is by itself. I'm going to bring down my inequality symbol. Negative 12 and a positive 6 equals negative 6. So my inequality is c is less than negative 6. And number 4, d minus 2 is greater than 4. I'm going to add by 2 on both sides of my inequality. A minus or a negative 2 and a positive 2. They cancel each other out and make 0, so I'm left with d. I keep my symbol the same, so it's greater than. And 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. Let's take a minute and think about what our inequalities mean. So going back to number 1, a is greater than or equal to 3. So that means my answer could be any number that is greater than or equal to 3. So a could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Number 2, k is less than or equal to negative 11. So my answer could be any number that is less than negative 11, or it could also be negative 11. So this number here could be negative 12, negative 13, negative 14. With inequalities, there is more than one answer. Number 3, C is less than -6. So my value for C could be -7, -8, -9, and it could keep going. And for number 4, D is greater than 6. So my answer here for D is any number that is larger than the number 6. So it could be 7, 8, 9, 10, and the list goes on. Let's try solving one-step inequalities with multiplication and division. So number 5, 2 times m is greater than -20. I'm going to use the inverse of multiplication, which is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. This helps us to get m by itself because 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. So we have 1m. Our symbol is going to stay the same. M is greater than, and -20 divided by 2 will give me -10. M is any number that is greater than -10. Number 6, -6 times n is less than 18. So to solve for my inequality, I'm going to get n by itself by dividing both sides by -6. -6 divided by -6 is equal to 1, so n is now by itself. I can bring down my inequality symbol, and 18 divided by a -6 is -3. Be careful, a positive divided by a negative will still equal a negative. Number 7. Whenever I see a problem that has a fraction, I know that we are solving using division. So this says p divided by 5 is less than or equal to -9. So I'm going to use the inverse operation of division, which is multiplication. I'm going to multiply both sides of my inequality by 5. 5 times 1/5 is 1, so that cancels out, and p is by itself. My inequality symbol is going to stay the same, and -9 times +5 is -45. So my inequality is p is less than or equal to -45. Number 8, r divided by -2 is greater than or equal to 3. To get my variable by itself, I'm going to do the inverse operation. So we're going to multiply by this -2. -2 times a -1/2 cancels out to be 1, so r is all by itself. I'm going to leave my inequality symbol the same, and 3 times -2 is -6. Take a second to think about what your inequality symbols mean. What answers might you have? Try these problems on your own. I hope that you found this video helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions.